Okay, so we're now going to continue, fourth class. V'yesh losif levair. Right, on top of what we said last time, that there now is Ezra Yisrael Yatzar. There's an aspect of the mitzvah of defending Jews from attack, and also turning Israel into a sovereign power, according to the mitzvah of Bo Reshut Haaretz in Devarim Aleph Chet. Now we're moving on. Yesh losif levair shebeshtei hamitzvot halu yeshon dvar miyuchad. שונה מכל שאר מצוות של התורה. בכל מצוות של התורה כתוב וחי בהם ולא ישרמו בהם. מכאן שפיקוח נפש דוחה את המצווה. Says the Rabbi Eli Sadan, I'm sorry. These two mitzvah of Ezrat Yisrael, according to Rambam, and Bo Reshut Haaretz, according to the Torah, are different from all other positive commandments. All other positive commandments, if you're in danger, you don't do them. Pikuach nefesh overcomes. However, and why do we do that? Because it says v'chai behem. The mitzvot are v'chai behem, and the Gemara learns, or Chazal learns, lo shemut behem. You shouldn't die because of the mitzvot. From this we learn that what? Pikuach nefesh dochet mitzvah. That in general, when you have a mitzvah, positive one, you don't die for it. Omnam yesh klal shel yarev gal yavo. There's also a rule of die and don't transgress. But this is only relevant for three extreme sins, right? Of avodah zarah, murder, and illicit relations. However, in positive commandments, there is no positive commandment which overcomes, in general, we're about to see the exception, there is no positive commandment which overcomes pikuach nefesh. Aside from these two mitzvot. It's mitzvah Ezrat Yisrael Yatzar Habalem, according to Rambam, that is one of the forms of Milchem Mitzvah, defending other Jews. You go to war to defend a Jew, you're inherently endangering your life, so why should I do it? You're not supposed to endanger your life for a positive command. So we'll answer that question saying, and also, mitzvah Yushada is also the mitzvah of conquering the land, inheriting the land. Why should I endanger myself? For conquering the land, it's a positive command. We don't endanger ourselves for positive commands. Shebeshtehen mitzvah adam mitzvah limsor alehem enafsho. For these two mitzvot, man is commanded to sacrifice his life for these two things. Why though? Mitzvot, right? Chai behem. You're supposed to live through the mitzvot, not die through the mitzvot. So how is it possible that there are two mitzvot that we actually are commanded to endanger ourselves for? Like I just said, Rav Kook explains in Igot Raya, in his letters, Igot Raya Gimel, Taf Kuf Mem Daled, which is 944, letter 944. Since it is a general public mitzvah, the tzibur lo maite, and tzibur isn't included. 1 second. Memela hi lo soter eklal shel chaybem ela kadei shemitzvah eklal titkeim. At the end of the day, what? We want Am Yisrael to be able to perform mitzvot. If by refusing to go to fight because of chaybem, we have lived through the mitzvot, Jews are going to be killed and can no longer fulfill their own mitzvot, then we've lost it all. And therefore, explains the Rav Kook, hayachid. Says the Rambam, so the collective can perform mitzvot. The individual is commanded to endanger himself through the mitzvah of defending other Jews to enable other Jews to be able to do their mitzvot. Aken, akopanim, ela mitzvot hayichidot alem mitzvah adam limsor nefesh. These are only two positive commandments which Jews are commanded to endanger themselves for the sake of keeping. Now the Rav Eli Sadan is summarizing what we've learned so far. The first thing we need to know is that when we go to the army, we are going to perform God's mitzvot. Mitzvot shehen מהגדולות ביותר שיש בתורה. Mitzvot which are some of the greatest in the Torah. Mitzvot shedoshot misur nefesh. Why are they great? Because they actually halachically require self-sacrifice, literal self-sacrifice, if needed. Shesh be'en kedusha gdola, and they have a great holiness within them. They have great kedusha in them, so much so, right? We say that when we do an actual mitzvah, Asher Kiddushanu, we say Asher Kiddushanu is Tavet Tzivanu. Right? Make a bracha. We commanded, right? But we were sanctified by His commanding of these mitzvot. Asher Kiddushanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu. We were sanctified the mitzvot and commanded to do them. So there's no Asher Kiddushanu for going to the army. But the point is, when we go to the army, we're not lowering ourselves by kedusha. We're increasing the kedusha, because what we're doing, we are becoming more holy, right? We're sanctifying ourselves by doing a mitzvah. But some people suffer religiously in the army. That's true. However, what? That's not the case. That doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, we are sanctifying ourselves. We're supposed to stay strong. It does matter. I don't mean that we should be okay with becoming less religious, but the fact is, that's because some people are seeing the army as something negative. If I see the army as something which gets me close to God because at the end of the day it is a mitzvah, then what? Then shir kiddushanu, I sanctify myself more. Klamar, שהמצוות מוצאים מן הכוח הפועל את הקדושה האלוקית הכנוזה בנו. Says Rav Eli Sadan, what's the explanation of the mitzvah of Asher Kiddushanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu? The mitzvot bring into actuality the holiness which is in potential within us. Asher Kiddushanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu. Right? We have holiness within us. We're commanded to do things that shows that we are holy in ourselves. In ourselves, right? Adam sholech letzava mitkadesh. Someone who goes to the army is sanctified. Lo nishchak, lo mitkadesh. His religiosity, isn't eroded. Doesn't become irreligious. Just like someone goes to yeshiva to learn Torah, he doesn't become weaker religiously because he knows it's a mitzvah. He's not worried about. He's not worried that he's going to have his religiosity eroded by his efforts to learn Torah. So too that should be the mindset when going to the army. If one understands that it's serving God, if he understands all his physical and mental efforts in the army and spiritual that he's making the effort to do in the army, they come, if they really come from a place of Avat Hashem, of loving God which is burning within him, then why would he at all get eroded in the army? If he understands that it's a burning desire to become close to God, and it's a mitzvah to go to the army, then what? Why would he become distant? Lefech, rather the opposite. He should become eroded religiously. Rather the opposite. Hu mitaleh, he's elevated. Hu mitkadesh, he becomes sanctified. Hu nitar miyom liyom, he becomes purified day in, day out, because he realizes he's there for godly reasons. That's it for today.